Hello everybody, and welcome back to my channel. My name is Rux. I'm a Western tropical astrologer, and today we're going to be talking about the full moon in Capricorn coming up on the 3rd of July. This is happening at 11 degrees 18 minutes of Capricorn. If you have in your natal chart, folks, planets or angles around 11 degrees of cardinal signs, you are likely to feel this full moon the most. The cardinal signs are Capricorn, Cancer, but also Libra and Aries. Those of you who don't have planets or angles around 11 degrees of cardinal signs may still notice the influence of the full moon, but it might feel a little bit less personal potentially, or less maybe impactful on a personal level. I do want to give a special shout out to the following people. Those of you who have planets or angles around 11 degrees, especially personal planets. So I'm referring here to the Sun, Moon, Mercury, Venus, Mars. Those of you who have personal planets or angles around 11 degrees of Virgo, Taurus, Pisces, and Scorpio are likely to enjoy this full moon the most. Why is that? Well, because the full moon is going to be forming harmonious aspects with your planets or your angles. So you're likely to really maybe feel like this is, how should we say, a moment worth celebrating. Full moons, let's recap, are moments of, astrologically speaking, of completion, of culmination. We are likely to see the results. We are likely to see the outcomes of the seeds that we have sown symbolically, especially around the time of the new moon. Now, the new moon in Capricorn, the most recent new moon in Capricorn, happened last year in December, on the 23rd of December. So it could be a great idea to go back in time and to see what was going on in your life. What were you focusing on? What did you start? What did you initiate around that time? Because this full moon is likely to bring projects, initiatives that were on your radar around that time. This full moon may very well bring them to a close. Also, at the time of the full moon, we see things. Things are very, very obvious to us. I think it was Robert Zoller, if I'm not mistaken, who said that the full moon kind of like focuses our attention, and we may even feel like our attention is focused on a specific life sector, the life sector that is activated by the full moon, or the two life sectors that are activated by the full moon for the next 2 weeks after the full moon takes place. So that would take us all the way into the middle of July. I generally say pay attention to the 3 days before and the 3 days after the full moon to notice its effects, to notice what on earth is going on. What is it that is culminating? What is it that you are completing in your life? Full moons are also times to say, okay, we are wrapping things up. It is time to move on. We are seeing the results. We have reached the peak of something, the pinnacle of something, and now it is time to move on. When it comes to manifestation, at the time of the full moon, and especially after the full moon, before the new moon takes place approximately 2 weeks later, it is indicated that you manifest whatever it is that you want to let go of, whatever it is that you want to release. Because as the moon is decreasing in light, so is that particular aspect of your life that you want to let go of. If you want something to grow in your life, it is very much worth manifesting, focusing your intentions, your efforts from the new moon onwards up to the point of the full moon. This full moon activates very, very strongly the so-called axis of security. Capricorn is concerned with material security and institutional security and stability, social, societal security and stability. Tradition, Capricorn is very much a sign concerned with tradition and preserving tradition and the status quo. Whereas Cancer is concerned with families, it is concerned with emotional security, emotional stability. In astrology, this is the so-called parental axis. Are we likely to see themes in the news, in our life, in society, coming to the forefront of our attention, connected with potentially institutions, real estate, homes, the situation of families at the time of the full moon. Yes, very possibly, very likely. There's a very high chance that this may happen. This is a very stabilizing full moon. I will put it out there. Why? Because it is harmoniously aspecting both Jupiter and Saturn. Now, both aspects are separating, but I think it is very much worth taking note of the stabilizing, my apologies, influence of Jupiter in Taurus that says, okay, now things have reached a point where we are safe materially. Saturn comes in and says, we have built something. We have built something sustainable. Here are the results of what we have built, or this is what needs to be built moving forward. It may feel like we have clarity in our lives in terms of what sort of resources we can count upon, what sort of institutions we can count upon, what sort of maybe help from the government we can count upon. I mean, obviously, I realize we are in a period where inflation is basically going bonkers. It is going through the roof. I do believe, however, that it might go a little bit backwards, and prices could start going down when Venus is going to be retrograde from the last week of July until the first week of September. But that's a completely different story. It may feel like institutions kind of like step in and help stabilize either like the situation of like families, real estate, and so on. Matters connected with the place of family, children within society may very well be front and center of our minds. We might read about these in the news, very possibly. As I'm filming this, when I'm filming this, I've just read in the news about what's going on in Russia, about the mercenary group kind of like going against that was hired by Putin, going against Putin. So I am filming this at a time of institutional and social instability, tremendous instability. I would say. Are we likely to see things stabilizing at the time of the full moon and right after the full moon? Yes. Are we likely to also feel more secure in terms of where the situation of the economy is headed? I believe so. I mean, call me a hopeless optimist. Yeah, I'm definitely a hopeless optimist and romantic also, but I'm actually very much looking forward to this full moon, and I believe many of you will be looking forward to this. One interesting thing is that at the time of the full moon, there's actually no energy in the sky in air signs. So we're not necessarily seeing things very objectively. We're either very emotionally invested in something, or we're thinking very practically about our homes, our money, and the pillars in our life that offer us security and stability, our career, our profession. Yes, a lot of you may actually see some sort of completion of a professional project at the time of this full moon, because it is, after all, a full moon in Capricorn. So there will probably be also a major focus on corporations and where these are headed, and how they can help maybe families. Please don't laugh, because I know that I'm gonna get some people who are very kind of like skeptical, and I'm a skeptic as well, that are gonna say corporations wanting to help people. But yeah, I'm not gonna get super political because this is not a political channel. But yeah, I do believe that there could be some developments that we hear of coming from corporations, large corporations, that are meant to kind of like support families in general. But let's see. these are my predictions. Let's call them. We're obviously going to go into the update for each of the 12 zodiac signs. Before we do that, please, I know that sometimes I sound a little bit like a broken record, or like your obnoxious internet mom that just repeats the same thing over and over again. But there could be people here that are just kind of like listening to this video for the first time. I mean, obviously I'm just releasing it, but you might be new to my channel. So essentially, I always remind people when it comes to updates for the 12 zodiac signs to listen to the update for your rising sign, for your ascendant, because these types of horoscopes, these types of forecasts are done with the rising sign in mind, not necessarily with a sun sign. Now, of course, if you don't know your rising sign, listen to your sun sign, but the rising sign is the most personal point in the horoscope. It is us and how we are interacting with the world. It is how the world sees us. It is our approach to the world. It is the, how should we call it? The window through which the exchange, the major exchange of energy between us and the world is happening. And it is the ascendant, or the rising sign. The ascendant is the exact degree of the rising sign. It is the ascendant that tells us how our natal chart gets divided into houses, which are representative of the various life sectors of our life. So once again, because horoscopes do have in mind, they are done generally with a view to understand in what life sector you're likely to feel the impact of astrological events in the sky. That is why I strongly recommend this was a long intro. That is why I strongly recommend listening to the update for your rising sign, okay? And if you don't know your rising sign, ask your parents, dig out your birth certificate, and find out your time of birth. And after you've found out your time of birth, you can just go to astro.com or astro-seek.com to generate your natal chart. It's free, and there are tons of sites that do that on the internet for free. And once you get your natal chart, you're gonna see, okay, I'm a Taurus ascendant, or whatever it is that you are. So that's a very long story short, or like a short story long. Before we dive into the update for the 12 signs, I also want to remind people that if you want to work with me, you can find me on my website, which is writteninthestars-astrology.com. That is writteninthestars-astrology.com. You can go straight to the services section, and if you are a new client, you can go to the 1 hour 15 minutes Zoom consultation option. This is perfect if you would like me to analyze your natal chart, or if you would like us to look into the year ahead together, for you to better understand what are you working with in terms of the next 12 months, what energies, how you can best align yourself with them, maybe to better understand the meaning of events that are unfolding in your life. This is also a fantastic choice if you would like me to dig into your compatibility with someone else, or into your astrocartography, which shows how your chart interacts with various places around the world, because we travel to places and we feel great in one place and not so much in a different one. So the 1 hour 15 minutes consultation is completely customizable to your needs. If you want us to focus on specific topics in your astrology, such as your career, your finances, your relationship with family, we can also do that. So I am completely at your disposal for 1 hour and 15 minutes. And those of you who are existing clients, you know that there's like you probably know this, but I'm going to repeat it. There's 2 additional options for you on my website. The year ahead forecast. A lot of people purchase this around their birthday, or even at the beginning of a calendar year, but you can basically get this reading at any point in time, because I look into the 12 months ahead. So even if you get it now in June, July, we're going to look at the 12 months ahead. We're going to look at your astrology all the way until until the summer of 2024. And you've also got the option to go for the 30 minutes follow-up consultation if you've had a session with me and you've got specific questions, something kind of like very precise that you would like us to address, maybe like a few topics, or you've had some time to think, to re-listen to our our reading, to our consultation, and you would like us to dig deeper into certain areas, the 30 minutes follow-up consultation is fabulous for that. Oh, and I realized that I didn't say this up until this point. I'm also a tarot reader, so if you would like to purchase a tarot reading from my website, you can do that regardless of your status as a client, regardless of whether you are a new client or an old client. The tarot reading option is also available on my website. I love to combine tarot with astrology. I feel like they are two complementary tools. So have your pick. Let us, oh, I apologize. That's my notebook. Let's dive into the update for Aries. My dear Aries, Aries suns and Aries risings. 3rd of July, 3 days before, 3 days after, there's a full moon activating your career sector and your private life sector. I strongly recommend looking back at what was going on in your career sector in December of last year, in December of 2022, 23rd of December, especially like a few days before, a few days after, because that's when you experienced a new moon in this part of your chart. This full moon is bringing some sort of a completion, moment of celebration, moment of accomplishment from a professional perspective. I feel like you have overcome some sort of maybe hidden obstacle at work. I feel like you also have much greater clarity as to how you would like to advance career-wise, my dear Aries. What it is that you want to leave behind and what it is that you want to do moving forward. This could also be a time when possibly you get some sort of a promotion, because this full moon is nicely aspected to Jupiter in your second house of income. I feel like you are receiving public applause, public acclaim, career-wise, around this time, Aries. You could also be leaving a position behind professionally because you've gotten a better one someplace else that pays more. There is a possibility that you might also have something to announce to the outside world, to bosses, but also to the public in general. Maybe there's something that you would like to announce around what's been going on in your home and family life, what's been going on behind the scenes. If you have decided, for instance, to maybe switch industries, switch fields professionally because, I don't know, you want to spend more time with your family or you want to have a better work-life balance, you could let the world know. I wanna say a job very well done. However, this is how I would describe the full moon for you. You feel appreciated. You feel like you have proven yourself professionally. So I absolutely like this, and it feels like you've also, my apologies, overcome some sort of fear career-wise around this time, something that held you back up until this point. Now, if you are a Taurus sun or a Taurus rising, my lovely Taurians, 3rd of July, 3 days before, 3 days after, the full moon is activating your axis of traveling, studies, learning, higher education, legal matters. I'm gonna say that you seem to have some really good news. Some really good news coming up, connected with your academic future. Maybe you've been accepted to some sort of academic program. Maybe you have wrapped up your studies academically. I dare say that you've done this very successfully. If you're waiting for results from your exams or from having presented some sort of project or something like that, well done. I feel like you need to celebrate with your friends. This could also be a time when you travel for work, or when you travel and you are connecting with people that work in the same kind of field that you work in. This could also be a time when you have a bit of an aha moment around the meaning of life. And I know that might sound very, how should we say, philosophical, but it is a philosophical moment. You could kind of look at your life and say, yeah, this is This is what's important to me. It could also feel like you have accomplished some sort of goal of an educational nature or of a legal nature or of something that has to do with traveling, visas, residency, and so on. Look back at what was going on in your educational sector, travel sector, or the sector connected with legal matters last year in December, around the 23rd of December, because this full moon is likely to bring things to a close. I also feel like this is a time when you understand yourselves better, my dear Taurians, and you may feel like you have grown as a person. It may feel like you've got greater clarity as to also how you want to develop yourselves moving forward. Geminis, Gemini suns, and Gemini risings. 3rd of July, 3 days before, 3 days after, there is a full moon activating your financial axis. I like this. I feel like you are getting maybe some sort of bonus from work, or maybe you are signing some sort of important deal from a professional perspective that pays. If you are acting like the middle person, like the middleman, the middle woman, the connector work-wise, you're probably gonna, I feel, be repaid for acting in this capacity, and you may very well be repaid financially. You could also clear out some debt around this time, and it does feel like this is giving you a lot of peace of mind. And this could also be a time when there are some good news coming up connected with your investments, if you have investments, or connected with maybe like a mortgage, if you're waiting for a mortgage, or if you're waiting for some sort of like loan or something like that. It also feels like you are no longer maybe as burdened as you used to be by a financial matter, maybe that impacted both you as well as your life partner. This is a fabulous time for those of you who have business partners, because I feel like they are helping you maybe advance professionally, my dear Geminis. Cancer, Cancer suns and Cancer risings, like yours truly here. By the way, I do apologize for the lighting. I know it's a little bit weird. I've been moving around, like the sun is shining and then it's cloudy again, so please forgive me if the lighting changes randomly throughout this video. It is what it is. We are filming outside in the great outdoors. Cancerians, 3rd of July, 3 days before, 3 days after, there's a full moon activating your 7th house of relationships. This is beautiful, 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 beautiful. I feel like you are either sealing the deal. You're agreeing upon a fantastic, fantastic, fantastic business partnership, something that is likely to help you accomplish your long-term goals career-wise. You could be getting like a fantastic like manager or agent. You might also find someone who's, I don't know, like a great accountant of some sorts that is helping you accomplish your goals professionally. I feel like you are collaborating very successfully with a partner professionally around this time. You could maybe sign some sort of contract, some sort of agreement with like a business partner or someone who can help you business wise. I feel like you could also be presenting something in collaboration with someone to a group of people work wise, and you are both absolutely shining. Did you hear me? I said shining. This could also be a time from a romantic perspective when it feels like you have found your match, like a good match, not a bad match. It may feel like you really see yourselves, Cancerians, moving forward in life with this person that is by your side around this time. Look back at what was going on in your relationship and partnership sector last year in December, around the 23rd of December, because of course this full moon is likely to bring things to a culminating point, my lovely Cancerians. You could also be doing something very, very social, maybe attending some sort of like social event together with your partner, and it could feel like your relationship is stronger than ever. Yes. Leos, Leo suns and Leo risings, 23rd of July, 3rd of July, 3 days before, 3 days after, there's a full moon activating your axis of work and service. I feel like you are maybe wrapping a project that required a lot of work, a lot of patience, a lot of consistency, a lot of discipline work-wise. Maybe something that involved working with a lot of money, maybe something that involved managing other people's money, or working with some sort of like some sort of an investment, or like a loan that you received. I feel like you've had to like really control your emotions in order to get this done. You had to be super kind of like disciplined. You might have also felt a little bit stretched potentially in terms of your creative expression for this project, but alas, it feels like you are completing this very, very, very successfully. If you're waiting for a job offer, you're probably gonna get it. You are probably going to get it, and I would strongly recommend that you maybe negotiate hard for like a benefits package, like a proper benefits package. Because once again, I feel like you are going to get it, my dear Leos. So you might want to ask for like stocks or shares, or yeah. So look at the whole kind of like comprehensive package, like a good pension contribution and stuff like that. This could also be a time when someone leaves your job, when someone leaves the team that you're a part of, but for whatever reason, that seems to help you advance professionally. So I'm liking it. And once again, I do feel like this can be a very, very successful moment for you, Leos. Also from a career, not just from a career perspective, but from a health perspective. If you've been working in the past 6 months since last December on your health, on improving your health, on changing your habits, changing your daily routines and rituals, and if you've also been working on improving your mental health and working with your emotions, your feelings, unexpressed emotions, unexpressed feelings, the aspects of your psyche that made you feel vulnerable, I feel like you are accomplishing something very important around the time of this full moon, and you deserve a round of applause. You definitely do. You absolutely do. Virgo suns and Virgo risings. What is going on at the time of this full moon? 3rd of July, 3 days before, 3 days after, there's a full moon activating your 5th house, 11th house axis. Virgos, I feel like you're the ones who are having the most fun at the time of this full moon, especially Virgo risings. I feel like you're celebrating something with your partner and friends. Maybe it involves some traveling. Maybe you are making some plans to travel together with your partner and friends. I feel like you are being very loved and appreciated at this point in time. You're also probably completing some sort of a creative project, maybe something that involved a collaboration with a group of people, and you could be presenting it to the outside world, and the outside world is saying, "Yay! Well done! We love this." I do feel like this could also be a time when you agree with your partner, especially if you have children, on something that concerns the future of your children, and you seem to be very much on the same page. You could be discussing money, you could be discussing, I don't know, like school fees and stuff like that, and you are reaching some sort of an agreement, my dear Virgos. For those of you who have kids, it also feels like you've got reasons to be proud of your children, even though you may have had to like work very hard, or even like bring someone else in, such as like an advisor, a guide, or a consultant, to contribute to your kids accomplishing something that they are accomplishing around this point in time. So I'm liking it. It's a really, really, really nicely aspected full moon. Libra suns and Libra risings. 3rd of July, 3 days before, 3 days after. The full moon is activating your 4th house, 10th house axis. So private life, public life. Some of you might be moving into a new home. Some of you might be sharing with the world that you've been working on something at home, and you could feel ready to welcome people in your home. So I don't know if you've been doing renovations, for instance. It doesn't have to be just that, but if you've been doing renovations, you could feel ready to host like a housewarming party. Your parents, if any of your parents were like dealing with something challenging health-wise, I feel like now the challenge is kind of like the hardest part is over, I want to say. This could be like a very successful time when they feel like they've accomplished what they had set out to accomplish health-wise, your parents. This could also be a time when maybe, just maybe, you receive an offer to relocate for your job. It obviously has to be indicated by other transits, by other aspects as well. But it is very, very, very possible. So some work that you've been doing in private is coming to a close. It was not easy. You had to believe. You had to maybe employ, I don't know, the help of someone else, maybe even of someone else's like money and cash, I want to say. But here you are. You are in a much better place, Libras. If you are searching for a home, you are likely to find it around this time, by the way. Scorpio suns and Scorpio risings, full moon in Capricorn, 3rd of July, 3 days before, 3 days after. This is activating your axis of service and travel, of education and traveling. You may pass an exam around this time. You may potentially find the right car, the right vehicle, the right, I don't know, means of transportation for you. I feel like some of you could also be selling something, maybe something that is connected with your passions and hobbies. You could find like a buyer. This could also be a time when you sign up for some sort of like course, or you complete a course connected with one of your passions and hobbies. You could also be launching, I'm feeling like a marketing campaign for those of you who are like in that space where you can maybe promote the services that you offer, or you can or if you're in that space where you need to promote what you are creating. I feel like you could be like shouting out to the world, and the world is receiving whatever it is that you're promoting with open arms. It also feels like this is a time when you are probably receiving some really good advice. And you're having some very constructive conversations, either with your life partner or with a business partner, or the other possibility is someone who is in charge of your money, or who is meant to help you make more money. So I'm thinking, I don't know, like an accountant, like a financial advisor, and they could give you just the right advice, and you're like, it all makes sense. It clicks. It has clicked in my head. So I'm liking this. I'm liking this. You could be traveling around this time, my dear Scorpios, or you could be maybe like paying for like a trip of some sorts. It is probably going to be something that you feel like maybe it took a long time to decide on. Maybe it also cost quite a bit, but it does seem to be worth it, I'd say. Sagittarius suns and Sagittarius risings, full moon in Capricorn, 3rd of July, 3 days before, 3 days after. This is activating your financial axis. You are getting paid and you are making a lot of money, my lovely Sagittarians. I feel like you're either like getting a raise or putting your prices up or getting a major client, but this full moon is stupendous, brilliant, fabulous when it comes to your financial situation. I'm just gonna put it out there. Look back at what you started working on, and maybe how you started kind of like developing further your skill set in order to make more money. How you maybe started to like think about how you can monetize your skills better. How you started to like strategize on the financial front last year, especially last 2 weeks of December in 2022. I feel like a significant pot of money is making its way to you, Sagittarius. It is probably something that you are going to be, in some shape or form, pouring towards the home, pouring towards the house, pouring towards the family. Maybe this is exactly what you needed, this raise, or this new client, or this sum of money, or this kind of like financial like prospect is exactly what you needed in order to move forward with something that you're working on at home. Maybe you're planning to buy a house. Maybe you're planning to do, I don't know, an extension. Maybe you're planning to grow the family. Money helps. And it does seem to be making its way to you around this time, my lovely Sagittarians. Capricorn suns and Capricorn risings. Obviously, you're the stars of this because, hello, the full moon is happening in Capricorn, 3rd of July, 3 days before, 3 days after. I feel like you are accomplishing something very, very important on a personal level, my dear Capricorns, in terms of having built yourselves up, in terms of having become a person that you're very proud of. In terms of maybe having found a way to express yourselves better, to communicate better what is important to you, I feel like this could also be a time when you have accomplished something from an educational perspective, because Saturn, which is the dispositor of this full moon, is placed in your third house of learning concrete skills. This could be a time when you finalize something that you're very proud of, that has to do with writing, so maybe like a thesis or like a book or like a course or something like that. If you need to deliver some sort of like, I don't know, presentation or speech, it's going fabulously, and you are receiving most likely very, very, very positive feedback. It also feels like you are in agreement with a partner around this time, maybe on how to proceed with something, something that concerns documents, paperwork, maybe also like future communications. I wanna say this could be a time when you finalize a business partnership. This could also be a time when you feel like you have evolved tremendously when it comes to how you approach relationships in general, my dear Capricorns. You could be looking back and thinking, oh wow, I would have never had, I don't know, the courage to like talk about these things with a partner. I would have never had the courage to like express what makes me happy this much. It feels like this is also a time to really take stock of how unique and special you are, and maybe how loved you are by someone in your life. Beautiful, beautiful, beautiful. I think I said this 100 times. This could also be a time, my dear Capricorns, when you decide to, and I would recommend before I jump onto Aquarius, if you wanted to make some sort of like changes in terms of like appearance, in terms of looks, this can be a culminating point, a culminating moment. So around the time of the full moon, you could be looking at yourselves in the mirror and saying, oh wow, I have changed. And you seem to like what you are seeing because you've probably put effort into changing, and also maybe into like how you talk to yourselves about yourselves. Speaking of changes in terms of looks, I would recommend that you don't wait until the latter part of July, because Venus is going to go retrograde. So aesthetically speaking, not the best of times to buy new clothes or try a new haircut. So I just wanted you to know. Aquarius suns and Aquarius risings. 3rd of July, 3 days before, 3 days after, this full moon in Capricorn is activating your axis of service and health, mental health, spirituality. This could be a time when you feel like you have accomplished something in private. Maybe something that you've been working on for the past 6 months, maybe something connected with your spiritual life, with your mental health, maybe with better understanding how you were sabotaging yourselves, my dear Aquarians. Have a think about what was going on in your life in the past, around the 23rd of December, a few days before, a few days after, in 2022, of course, because this full moon could be bringing things to a close. That started around that time. This could be a time when you feel like you are done with a job. This could also be a time when you finally take some time off, some days to rest, some days to recover. It is a great time to look inwards. It is a great time for introspection. You could feel like you have a bit of an aha moment in terms of how you were shooting yourselves in the foot, how you were holding yourselves back with, I don't know, like self-deprecating like thoughts or attitudes or limiting beliefs. Some sort of work that you were doing in private, maybe connected with your finances, also seems to be maybe paying off, and it feels like you're releasing some sort of fear around this time, Aquarius. Many of you will feel possibly a little bit tired, but that's okay, because this is a time to rest, to sleep, to take time off, if you will. This can also be a time when you say, listen, I need to take the foot off the pedal work-wise, because I've got things that I need to focus on at home. So you seem to be kind of like focusing your energy towards your private life. You might also feel like you are cleaning up a mess at home around this time very successfully. I'd say this could be a time when you also discover some sort of like hidden information about how your home life, your family life is going to grow and evolve, but you're probably not going to share it with everyone else. Last but not least, someone could leave their job around this time. It could be you, it could be a team member, it could be a parent, it could be a family member. and it feels, in a way, it feels really good. It feels like it's time. So you're kind of like very appreciative of this. I wanna say, I'm liking it. I'm liking it, but please take it easy and please don't push yourselves, Aquarians. This is a time to rest, sleep, meditate, chill. Now you know. Pisces suns and Pisces risings. This full moon on the 3rd of July, 3 days before, 3 days after, is activating your 11th house, 5th house axis. I like this. Why? Because it feels like you're celebrating something together with friends. It feels like you have accomplished also some sort of goal that you were working towards together with your friends, or maybe it was like a group goal, a collective goal. You could also be celebrating something together with your friends, connected with your self-growth and self-development, maybe also connected with your own health and improving your health. You've got that Saturn in the 1st house that is making me think that from March at least, you have been actively working on your health, actively like reducing certain kind of like things that you've been putting into the body, or becoming much more conscious about what your body needs in order to operate as well as it can operate. I mean, I'm laughing because my husband is a Pisces rising and he has quit smoking this year. That Saturn coming into Pisces has been super helpful so far for him. I mean, yeah, sometimes of course he did not feel great. Obviously, a little bit of like withdrawal symptoms, but I feel like Saturn helped him channel that discipline to say, yeah, I'm doing this for my future. And it's not just him that quit smoking. It's also like his cousin and like a few other people in his entourage. So I feel like this does deserve a group celebration. This could also be a time when you are presenting something, Pisces, very, very successfully, something that you've written, something that you've thought about extensively. You're presenting something to the outside world, to your peers, to your friends, to the club that you're a part of, the community, the organization that you're a part of. And you've worked really hard for this. You've had to really stretch yourselves, my dear Pisces, for this to work. And the feedback is probably really, really, really good. I feel like you could also be joining some sort of club or organization that is going to help you develop yourselves further around this time, my dear Pisces. This can also be a time when you go out with friends, especially work friends, and yeah, it just feels good to be together. I wanna say you seem to be having fun. That is your full moon update, folks. I hope that this has been useful. Remember that if you would like to work with me and if you would like us to dig into your year ahead to do a forecast that is personalized to you, because that's the most accurate forecast that you can get from an astrologer, because it is based on your entire natal chart. You can find me on my website, which is written in the stars-astrology.com. Also, please remember that astrology is only archetypally and symbolically predictive. It does not predict concrete manifestation because you have free will. Astrology does not take away our free will. And a lot of how things eventually play out also depends on how we react to the energies unfolding outside and inside of us. So if you're looking at life and thinking, oh, this is awful and this is so bad, and you're seeing only negative stuff and you're not kind of like noticing the hidden maybe like opportunity or the hidden kind of like potential for growth, then of course the ultimate outcome may be not so great. Last but not least, if you find my content useful, if you find these updates interesting, useful, entertaining, you can also say thanks, literally on YouTube, by tapping that thanks button underneath the video and making a donation to my channel. Your support is highly, 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 highly appreciated, and it shows me that, yeah, what I do matters. Written in the stars-astrology.com. I'm also on Instagram at Rux Unbelievable in one word. Thank you for tuning in, and I will see you next time. Bye.